Well, hey, good evening. How the heck is everybody? Good Tuesday evening to you. Welcome to the live stream. I'm Bill Sylvie, your sadly sober host for the evening. Yeah, no giant bottles of framboise to enjoy. Oh well. Life goes on and struggle forward we must. Why are my monitors so far apart? That's not good. Ugh. I have a word with the production team about this. Oh, wait, that's me. Anyway, how the heck are you? Samalama, good to see you. Samalama ding dong. I'm sorry. I do that in my head like every second time I see you online. So I apologize for that, for doing that. But anyhow. Hello to you all out there in internet land. Hello, Damien. Good to see you. How is everyone? We draw ever closer to Christmas, and I hope you are all having an absolutely fantastic week on this run-up. Things are just getting busier for me. So, anyway. Oh. Someone messages me. But anyhow, it's an unfortunate side effect of my username. Yes, well, hey, at least you have a fun username, right? Good evening, Dungeon Minister. Good to see you. How nice of you to be here. So, this evening, I thought, I was mentioning last night that I got my Christmas presents almost all early, or I knew what they were going to be. I haven't been truly surprised by a Christmas present in a long time, really. Well, I shouldn't say that, because you know what? Tracy Lesh gave me this awesome painting right here, and that was a total surprise. And the Leshes gave me another awesome gift this year, which was a total surprise. The fact that part of it was eaten before the appropriate time here at my house was also a surprise, but that was neither pleasant nor the Lesh's doing. So anyway, but as I have said, got my Christmas presents early. One of them was, of course, HeroQuest. And, we've all seen the Bardic Broadcast video. HeroQuest is the best game in the whole world, and here's why. And it's a better video than I could ever hope to produce. It's really just an amazing thing, and if you haven't seen it, just go look on YouTube for HeroQuest is the best game in the whole world, and I promise you, you will find it. It will be the first hit you find, and you will thank me for it. But of course, Avalon Hill, Wizards of the Coast, whoever they are these days, whatever lie they're telling people about their identity, they re-released HeroQuest. Now, it is, by all accounts, very much the same game. I actually didn't play it back in the day more than a few times, and I have forgotten the rules. It was not as big a staple for me. So I thought tonight we could take a look at the rules for HeroQuest and really kind of give them a good going over with a rake and see if they hold up. But before we get to that, it's the 21st of December, and that means the 21st day of Lego Star Wars Christmas Advent Calendar. And today's is just awesome. I like it a lot. I think it's one of the better ones in the set. Like, I would rather have gotten two of these than a Rey Skywalker piece. So let me see. Let me show you what today's is. Let's go over to desktop view. And what we have today is we have a Gonk snowman. Gonky the Snowman. That's right. That is Gonk, a.k.a. the Power Droid. And that one is actually big enough that if you wanted to have a Gonk with your Star Wars action figures is you set them up. This is a Lego Gonk, and he looks like Frosty the Snowman, or just a snowman in general. Carrot nose, twig arms, top hat, and he's blue and white, not the black and gray of the McDonald's trash can, which is what they made Gonk out of. So there you go. That is day 21. Stop back by tomorrow for day 22. Now you might be wondering, hey, Bill, are you going to do the advent calendar again next year? No, I'm not. Unless I get another Star Wars advent calendar or some other kind of interesting fantasy-themed advent calendar. Then we'll just have to see. Fantasy or science fiction. But there he is. There's Gonk. And if you're not familiar, if you're just coming here for the first time and are like, what is he talking about? This is the Star Wars Lego Advent Calendar for 2020. And so far, we have seen so many of these pieces. We've seen the TIE Fighter, the Mandalorian's ship there. Let's see. Have we seen a Stormtrooper? I can't remember if we've seen a red Stormtrooper. We've seen this pit droid here. The Tauntaun. We just saw Gonk. There's Rey Skywalker, but she's holding a lightsaber. Luke is in my set, and he has the lightsaber. We've seen the X-Wing. A lot of these cool ones. And here's some more on the back that we've already seen. There's the Baru Ranch. There's Luke without his lightsaber again. Just a bit of an edit error there. Battle droid. Another pit droid. Let's see. We have the Millennium Falcon, an A-Wing, a Snow Speeder, and the droid control ship. Lots of fun stuff. So that's what we have. And we still have 3 more days of Advent Calendar fun coming up. But tonight we're going to take a look at HeroQuest. We're going to start with the rule book, but the rule book also entails understanding the quests and how they work. So I'm going to read from you guys the rule book, and where there are charts or play examples, we'll switch back over to this view and I'll show you, because just watching me do this for 45 minutes is not going to be a lot of fun for you guys. So here we are back. Hello. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing this evening. And I haven't even had a drink. Poor Gonk getting tortured. Yeah, I got turned upside down and the hot irons applied to his feet there. It shouldn't happen to a power droid. But anyway, let's move on. And let's go ahead and get started looking at the HeroQuest rulebook. Now, I don't have the HeroQuest dice out of the box set. I just pulled the rulebooks out, and it literally just occurred to me, hey, genius, HeroQuest has some custom dice, but where necessary, we can take a look at those. So let's jump right into it, shall we? Yes, we shall. So HeroQuest, if you don't know what HeroQuest is, if you've been living under a rock, it is a dungeon crawl board game with a lot of fantasy role-playing game elements to it. There's not a lot of role-playing like, meet the bartender and find out if he's lying about the disappearance of the princess and so on and etc. It literally just puts you right in the dungeon, and you move a set number of squares, you go into rooms, you have combat. If you've played Dungeon from TSR, the original dungeon crawler board game, created by, I believe, Dave McGarry, then you've already pretty much got it down pat. So let's see. Let's get going. So, the rule book. It's just a flimsy, glossy thing. You know, I do wonder, and if this is actually, I should have wondered this before. Let's see. If this is available. Oh, wow. So there's a really janky HeroQuest quest book on Hasbro's actual website. That just kind of blows my mind. Hello, Vinny, over on Facebook. You mentioned you got HeroQuest as a gift, but a few weeks back, you received your HeroQuest from the Kickstarter. No. Okay, so to explain, when I say I got HeroQuest as a gift, I purchased it for myself from the early purchase system. It wasn't a Kickstarter, guys. Hasbro didn't have to ask us for money. It was just a prepayment system, and it wasn't through Kickstarter. It was through HasLabs or something like that. I bought it. I forgot about it. Then I remembered it. And rather than send my wife around looking for gifts, I just said, look, I bought myself a Christmas present. It's arriving in November. That's my Christmas this year. So when I say I got it as a gift, that's what I mean. I got it as an early Christmas gift. I bought it for myself. Hope that clarifies, Vinny. So anyway, the HeroQuest book, and I'm going to copy and paste this if you guys want to take a look at it. I think that's probably the original HeroQuest book from Hasbro, but let me see if the rulebook is. If the rulebook is, I'll share it, and then I can just let me see. It's on Scribd. So no, I'm not finding the rule book out there except on Scribd and so on. And he says, I was about to be the coolest kid in our neighborhood. Hey, Mom, Bill has 2 copies of HeroQuest. Yeah, no, I just have the one. It was excessive, it was expensive, and I did it anyway because at that time I had the dough. So let's get to it. Let's get to a cracking overview of the rules. All right. And I'll read, and periodically, like I said, I'll show you guys what's in the book. Heed well my words, for I am Mentor, guardian of the Lodestone. The Lore Stone, excuse me. Lore Tome. My eyes are in such bad lighting right now. I will tell you of times past, of darker days, when the realm was saved against all hope. For I fear the darkness is about to return. The sinister forces of Zargon, an evil sorcerer, has swept all before them. At the sight of the black banner and the massed hordes of dread, even the bravest warriors of the realm fled. The land was laid waste, and all the peoples despaired. There came a mighty warrior prince from the borderlands, Rogar the barbarian. He bore a glittering diamond upon his brow, the star of the west. Hope returned, and people flocked to his standard, leaving their hiding places in the hills and forests. Other great heroes joined him. Durgan, the fearless dwarven warrior from World's End Mountains. Ladril, the elven fighter mage from distant Elithorn, and Taylor, the wizard whose sorcery was to save Rogar on many occasions. For many years, Rogar trained his army, being careful to avoid open battle with Zargon's general until all was ready. He even harried Zargon's supply lines and wiped out countless orcs and goblins who had allied themselves with the evil sorcerer. Then came the day for which Rogar had waited. His army had grown strong and was well protected. Camping in the high passes, Ladril saw the dread hosts from afar and bade Durgan blow the call to arms on his mighty horn. Rogar's army poured down upon the enemy from two sides, and the battle was joined. Many foul creatures and good warriors perished that day. Yet as the light of day failed, it was darkness that fled the field. But the victory was not absolute. Both Zargon and the evil sorcerer's general escaped beyond the Sea of Talons. And even now they plot their revenge. Soon their plots will be ready, and the realm will have need of a new Rogar. But where are the heroes equal to him? You have much to learn if you are to become as great as Rogar and his companions. I will help all that I can. The book I protect, the lore tome, was written but when time began. All that ever was and all that ever will be is recorded in its countless pages. Through the lore tome I may guide you, but I may not intervene, lest a greater evil befall the world, and the evil forces of Zargon triumph forever. Gripping stuff, is it not? Zargon of Akkad. Oh my God. But you can't really. That's the best Zargon I can throw at you guys. If you are new to HeroQuest, page 4. What makes the game unique? What's in the box? How do you start? Page 5 to 8. Choosing your role, Zargon or a hero. Game setup. What Zargon needs to do before you begin playing. A glimpse into the world of HeroQuest. Pages 9 and 10. Zargon's story. I think we pretty much got a handle on Zargon's story, all right? He's Sauron, he's Darth Vader, he's I don't know, all the bad guys. To begin the quest, pages 11 and 12. Reading from the quest book, order of play, on a hero's turn, hero movement, looking at opening doors, how Zargon reacts to a hero's movement. The 6 hero actions, pages 12 to 20. Attack, cast a spell, search for treasure, search for secret doors, search for traps, disarm a trap. The evil sorcerer Zargon's turn, pages 20 to 22. Monster movement and actions. Attack, cast a dread spell, dead heroes. What happens if you run out of monsters? Ending the quest, page 22. What happens between quests? Lost artifacts, unfinished quests. Let's dive on in. So do we want to assume that we're new to HeroQuest? It's been 30 plus years for me. I'm going to assume I'm new to HeroQuest. Let's get cracking. But before we go there, just as I promised, I'll show you guys. We do have some special notes, some icons there. Let's see if I can get that for you guys. All right. Big brass evil smiley face. Instruction and information for Zargon. Kind of a one-eyed goblin-looking face. Instruction and information for the heroes. A book icon. Useful information that will help you play the game. A shield icon. Information that can affect gameplay. Pay attention to this. If I haven't yet, there's a Facebook HeroQuest group where game owners are creating 3D dungeon tiles in place of the standard game board. I'm already set on 3D dungeon tiles, but thank you very much. I may look into it. All right. So let's jump into it. All right. So the what makes this game unique section that we kick off with is very much like an intro to role-playing games. One player takes control of Zargon, the evil sorcerer and controller of the game, the Dungeon Master. We know that. A game for 2 to 5 players, HeroQuest is played in 14 sequential gameplay sessions called quests. The campaign. One quest may take an hour or two to play, with each subsequent quest increasing in difficulty. So your intro session or two, couple hours, they'll get harder as time goes on. The heroes work together to defeat Zargon and the evil sorcerer's forces of dread. Individual winning is not the goal. United heroes stand, divided they fall. So already we're getting on to the standard role-playing game tropes, if that's the appropriate use of that word, tropes. Was HeroQuest Zargon first or D&D Zargon? I don't know. I honestly don't know, Awig. That is a good question, but I do not know the answer. All right. Your version was $20 more than the standard version sold at stores now. I found it at GameStop. Oh, good purchase, Vinny. Good on you. And then we have a big list of game contents, which we looked at in the unboxing video, which you really should go check out. I don't have a link to it. It was back at the end of November. But I did an unboxing video and we looked at all the stuff. Getting started. If you're playing for the first time, punch out the cardboard tiles from the parts sheet and put them aside. Choose a role. One player must take on the role of Zargon, the Dungeon Master. The other players then assume the roles of the heroes, the barbarian, the dwarf, the elf, and the wizard. If fewer than 5 people are playing, one person must still play as Zargon. The remaining players can control more than one hero. Note that quests are more challenging if you are playing with fewer than 4 heroes. The important role of Zargon. The role of Zargon is a vital one in the game. The person who plays as Zargon serves as the game master. This means you sit behind the game master screen. You control the quest for the other players. See, this is all very bad. If you've played D&D, like if you got this, if you were looking for something different yet like D&D, up to this point as you're going through the rules, you're not dealing with anything that is going to be like brain breaking. All right. How Zargon sets up the game. Open the quest book and read the first quest. Turn to quest 1, The Trial. This quest must be played first. Read it silently to yourself. So I guess if you're an out loud reader, you should go into another room or something. Parchment text. So we have our first introduction here to box text, but as it is in HeroQuest. Oh, and by the way, this whole section has the gold, the bronze mask thing on it. You know, we looked at those icons earlier. This section is always read aloud to the hero players at the beginning of the game. So yes, we have box text. So we have a quest map, and the quest map, as it describes it here, if you remember, it's a simple Monopoly board-sized fold-out board. But what you place on it and where you place it defines the geomorph of the board. So you won't use every thing on the board, although when designing your own scenarios, the most challenging one, placing a monster in every square, as the bard would have us do, is an option. But yeah, the quest book, and we'll look at that in a second, shows you where to put your it says the map is marked with symbols. Sinister creatures under your control. I'm sorry. The quest map shows how the game board is to be laid out as the game progresses. The map is marked with symbols that show the starting positions of monsters, sinister creatures under control. These symbols are identical to those on each of the monster cards and are identified on the Game Master screen. The maps also show where to place pieces of furniture, stairs, doors, and blocked square tiles. In addition, there are symbols for traps, secret doors, and treasure chests. These symbols are shown on the map legend. And then we have an admonition here. Do not place anything on the game board at this time. Only reveal the layout when the hero figures have moved to a position on the game board that requires you to do so. So nothing goes on the game board. It's kind of a fog of war type thing. And then it has us read the quest notes. Well, let's dive in. Let's take a look at the first quest. We're going to look at what the game master has to do. So we're going to crack this open, and I'll bring the close-in camera up, and we'll take a look at that. And there's a very big preamble with some gorgeous art, which is, of course, a copy, a similar rendition of the art from back in the day. So you take a look here. The barbarian. Look at the muscularity. But there's a lot of preamble here, which I could be a long time reading. But we're going to look at the quest, and I'm going to show you guys the quest map so you can get an idea. At the beginning of each quest, only the parchment text should be read aloud to the players. You have learned well, my friends. Now you have come to the time of your first trial. You must first enter the catacombs that contain Felmarg's tomb. You must seek out and destroy Verag, a foul gargoyle that hides in the catacombs. This quest is not easy, and you must work together in order to survive. This is your first step on the road to becoming true heroes. Tread carefully, my friends. And then there are some notes for the Game Master. Zargon, you may tell everyone that there are no traps or secret doors in the first quest. However, you should also warn them that this is a tough adventure. It is meant to show the players that their chances of survival depends on how well they work together. A very introductory scenario. Now I'm going to flip back over and show you guys the map. So this is what I was talking about. If you look at the pink outlined area, that is the full game board. But only the white areas are used. Like I said, its geomorph is defined by what you put down. It's not like, well, we use the whole board every time and it's always this setup of rooms. Very clever design, if you ask me. Which you didn't, but I told you. All right, so we have some more notes for the Game Master here, for Zargon. And it notes by rooms rather than by numbers. We have letters. So in room A, the weapons on this weapons rack are chopped, ruined, and broken. There's nothing here that the heroes would want. So if your players say, hey, I'm going to check out the weapons rack, you can give them a little spiel about how, it's crap. And there are a couple of monsters in there. In room B, this treasure chest is empty. There's a treasure chest. It is empty. You might want to slow the players down and not have them know that immediately until they open it. That's just my game mastering advice. C. In room C, the mummy is a guardian of Felmarg's tomb and was once a mighty warrior. It rolls 4 attack dice instead of 3. We'll get to the attack dice and how they work in just a minute. In room D, the first hero who searches for treasure finds 84 gold coins in this treasure chest. So there's a treasure with some loot in. And finally, room E is the only other one with notes. The first hero who searches for treasure finds 120 gold coins in this treasure chest. So there's loot to be found. So that's really it. That's it. 2 pages, our entire adventure module, how the game master is to lay it out, where the players are to start, where the doors go, what loot is in each room. That's it. That's all. And you fight until the monsters are defeated, and you fight until the treasure's gone. So, very simple adventure. That's something that you could accomplish in about 20 minutes of Dungeons and Dragons play. But as this is a board game, it might go a little bit slower than that. But let's see. Let's say your adventurers do their exploring. So, we've begun the quest. We've talked about reading from the quest book. So let's look at the order of play. So I'm going to flip over to 11. Play begins when the hero seated to Zargon's left, with the hero seated to Zargon's left, and continues clockwise. So basically, if I had people around the table here, say I had 4 people, go boom, 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 boom. After all heroes have completed their turns, it is the evil sorcerer's turn. So no initiative, at least as far as movement is concerned, just goes around the table naturally. A good starting setup would be for the barbarian to sit to Zargon's left. This is from the book. Suggestion. The barbarian, followed by the dwarf, the elf, and then seated to Zargon's right, the wizard. On any player's turn, whether playing the role of Zargon or a hero, if a player does one of the following on their turn: moves their figures and performs an action, or performs an action and moves their figures. As a hero, you may move and then perform an action, or perform an action and then move. You may not, however, move partway, perform an action, and then finish your movement. You may perform any of the following actions: attack, cast a spell, search for treasure, search for secret doors, search for traps, disarm a trap. These actions are also listed in each turn order card for easy reference. They are explained in detail in the 6 hero actions. As a hero, you normally begin and end a quest in the room marked with a stairway, unless otherwise specified in the quest book. The stairway leads you down, 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 deep into the evil stronghold of dread. To safely complete a quest, you must return to the stairway, for it is only there that you are truly free from harm. I guess Zargon just, he likes to follow firefighting instructions of keeping stairways clear at all times, and the players, they don't care. To determine how many square spaces to move, roll 2 red dice. Then move carefully along the corridors and into rooms square by square. So this is not inches. This is an actual board game, 1 square at a time. On the game board, the corridors are shown by areas with a light gray flooring. Corridors are 1 or 2 squares wide. The rooms are enclosed by white lines, the walls. Here are the rules of movement. You do not have to move the entire distance indicated by the die roll. You cannot pass over monsters, move through walls, or move diagonally. You may pass over other heroes. You may only enter rooms through doors. You may not share a square with another hero or with a monster, except when you are on the stairs or in a pit trap. Interesting. Looking and opening doors. As a hero, while you are moving, you may look down a corridor or through an open door. Looking gives you the opportunity to see what is directly within your line of sight, such as closed doors, blocked square spaces, and monsters. Looking is not one of the 6 actions. On your turn, you may move it adjacent to a closed door and ask Zargon to open it. Zargon opens the door by removing the closed door piece and replacing it with an open door piece. Opening a door is also not one of the 6 actions. Both looking and opening doors are simply considered to be additional things you may do on your turn. So you can use your eyes for free. That's nice. Thank you very much, Hasbro. All doors start out closed. Once a door is opened, it can never be closed. Interesting. That's an interesting change. In Dungeons and Dragons, doors will close behind the players some of the time. If they leave the dungeon, when they come back, doors that they opened, even doors that they spiked shut, dungeon masters, make sure those doors are closed again. Unless the players removed them from their hinges and carried them out with them. And then if they're gone long enough, new doors will be in their place. Monsters are like that. How Zargon reacts to hero movement. Badly, I would say. As Zargon, you must carefully watch a hero's movement. Continually refer to the quest map in the quest book. When a hero looks down a corridor, place on the game board any doors, blocked square tiles, and monsters that are directly within the hero's line of sight. If the line passes through a wall or a closed door, then the miniature tile is not visible. When a hero opens a door, place on the game board the monsters, treasure chests, and any other items that belong in that room. Do not put traps on any secret doors. Do not put any traps on secret doors. Do not reveal treasure at this time. Block square tiles. As Zargon, you must place a blocked square tile on the game board as soon as it becomes visible to the hero. These tiles show where extra walls have been built. Neither heroes nor monsters can move through blocked squares. So we have the 6 hero actions. Let's talk about the 6 hero actions. Attack. As a hero, you may attack any monster that you are adjacent to. You are adjacent to if you are directly to the side, front, or rear of another square on which a monster is located. You may, however, only attack once per turn. Your attack strength depends on your attack weapon. The stronger the weapon, the greater the number of attack dice you will use. Some weapons allow you to attack diagonally or from a distance, but most weapons do not. You may only attack with one weapon at a time. At the start of the quest, each hero is armed with a specific weapon. Refer to the hero's character card for their starting weapon and attack dice number. The Barbarian begins with the most powerful starting weapon, Broadsword. The broadsword. The dwarf's starting weapon is a short sword. They also possess intuition, a special knack for disarming traps. So there you go. Again, a little hint back to D&D with dwarves being able to detect stonework traps. Here they just kind of call it all traps. Very interesting. The elf also starts with a short sword. They are a good fighter and have some knowledge of the magical arts. The elf begins each quest with 3 magic spells, 1 per spell group. The wizard starts with a small dagger. They have a great knowledge of magic and are a master spellcaster. They begin each quest with 9 magic spells, 3 spell groups. However, they are hindered by their inability to wear normal armor or use large weapons. So again, dagger and robes only for a magic user. Right out of D&D. How a hero attacks. As a hero, you must roll the white combat dice to attack a monster. The number of dice to roll depends on the weapon you are using for the attack. Check on your character sheet for your attack strength. If you fail to roll any skulls, your attack fails. Each skull that you roll is considered a hit, resulting in 1 body point of damage scored against a monster. If hit, the monster immediately defends by rolling its defense dice. If the monster's body point reaches 0, the monster is considered dead and is removed from the game board. A defending monster rolls the number of defense dice shown in the monster chart on the Game Master's screen. Each black shield rolled by the defending monster blocks 1 hit from the attacking hero. Many monsters are killed with only 1 hit. Some monsters, however, require more than 1 hit. Refer to the monster chart on the Game Master's screen for a monster's body points. For those monsters requiring more than one hit, monster damage is tracked by the use of skull tiles. Zargon, for each hit your monster sustains, you must record the hit point by placing a skull under the monster figure on the game board. If the monster survives attack, it cannot attack the hero back until Zargon's next turn. See How a Monster Attacks, page 20, and How a Hero Defends, page 21. A trip to the armory. As a hero, you may collect valuable treasures as gold coins during a quest. Between quests, you may use gold coins to purchase powerful weapons and protective armor from the armory. See the equipment deck. You may purchase any number of items from the deck. The items are always in stock, even if a player decides to use the card for a quick reference. And by the way, this is, here's a good example. Let's just blip right over. If you look there, those are the places you can be and attack a monster. Note, not diagonally, in general. So you can buy weapons. These weapons allow you to increase your attack and defense strength, and may also give you unique combat advantages. For example, daggers and crossbows are special weapons due to their ability to hit a monster from a distance. Some long weapons, like the staff and the longsword, allow you to attack diagonally. The attack is made and defended normally. So a longsword and the staff you can strike out diagonally with. Interesting. So to pause here, what do you guys think so far? This definitely feels like a D&D light. It really does. I mean, honestly, from here on out, as far as combat, I mean, the monsters attack and defend almost exactly like heroes do. Heroes just have more life points. And the quests then go on like that. I mean, from where I'm sitting, it's a pretty unique system. I mean, it doesn't seem to be holding anyone's interest terribly much, but there are wandering monsters. You can absolutely have wandering monsters show up. These monsters pop out of holes and hidden places and wander into rooms. The monster that appears is listed in the quest notes. I'm not familiar with Massive Darkness. That sounds familiar, though. I think one of you may have mentioned Massive Darkness before. So spells require line of sight to hit, and it does mention a good rule of thumb: draw an invisible straight line between the center of the square of the spellcaster and the center of the square the target is on. If the line does not cross a wall, closed door, hero, or monster, the target is declared visible, even if the line just touches a corner of a wall edge. The following diagram shows an example of what is visible. We can take a look at that. So there's your line of sight chart. You can see the lines radiating out, indicating who can and can't be seen. And while we're over here, this indicates weapon attack. So a long sword can hit this guy over here, as can a staff. It's similar to, it is a similar board game, but has campaigns and XP. Well, there is a little bit of XP. So we've talked about spells, we've talked about melee. Let's talk about searching for treasure. Searching for treasure. Oh, let's also go back so you guys can see me. Treasure is only found in rooms, not in corridors. A room may be searched by all four heroes, but an individual hero may only search the room once and may only do so on their turn. Some treasures are protected by traps. See Search for Traps, page 16. As a hero, you may search a room for treasure only if the room is uninhabited by monsters. As a hero, you must first verbally declare your search. Do so by saying, "I am searching for treasure." You don't have to say it like that. I promise. Do not move your hero figure when you search. If no special treasure is called out in the quest book, you must draw a random card from the treasure card deck and read it aloud. The card could offer you a variety of things, including riches and magical potions. Record any gold coins or potions on your character sheet. These valuable cards are not returned to the treasure deck until the next quest. So AWIG talking about it's a similar Massive Darkness is similar to this, but it has campaigns and XP. HeroQuest can actually advance your character up too. There's a little bit of info about encountering wandering monsters. Pit traps, searching for traps. I don't have to say it like that, but it helps. Thank you. And then there's a whole catalog of different traps. I mean, we're coming up on an hour here, so I want to catalog all of these. But disarming a trap. You must announce that you are moving onto the trap square to attempt to disarm and remove the trap. You must move onto the trap square and roll a combat die. If you roll a skull, you've sprung the trap, suffering body damage. If you roll either a black or white shield, the trap is disarmed. A disarmed trap is considered gone and is not put out on the game board. How the dwarf disarms a trap. If I know dwarfs, probably with his face. As the dwarf, you never need a toolkit to disarm a trap. Your odds of succeeding are great due to your innate skills. To disarm a trap, you must do the following. Before you move, you must announce that you are moving onto the trap square to attempt to disarm and remove the trap. Roll a combat die. If you roll a black shield, you have sprung the trap, suffering body damage. If you roll anything except a black shield, the trap is disarmed. Damn, I like that. I'm glad you like that, Crisp. I am searching for treasure. So, by the way, guys, Extra Crispy is my emergency technician who teleported in, or I guess is shuttled in to repair our life support system before we all perished here on the SS, the Dungeon Delver. So thank you again, Extra Crispy. If you're in the Central Florida area, don't hesitate to call Del Air and ask for Manny, unless he's playing Dungeons and Dragons. So I gotta tell you guys this story. I gotta pause the HeroQuest and here and tell you guys this story. So, Manny, and I mean this in the best way, buddy, Extra Crispy is giving off serious geek vibes. I'm standing in the backyard. I got the flashlight function on my phone so he can see our outside air handler and take care of the gray ooze that had clogged it. No, literally gray ooze. I don't know if it would dissolve your weapons and armor. I mean, eventually. I mean, honestly, a lot of Gary's monsters were basically just, crap around the house. I mean, you see green slime dripping down a wall in a house basement. You think, oh man, what would a super powered version of that be like? So I'm standing out there, I'm holding the thing, and we're just chit-chatting, just making light conversation. And I said, this may seem like a weird question, but you play Dungeons and Dragons? And he stops for a minute, just stock still, and looks at me and says, I'm currently unconscious behind a horse. A dragon is attacking our party. And I was like, all right. So we bonded over Dungeons and Dragons while Manny fixed our air conditioner, and it was loads of fun. It was loads of fun. You did me a solid, Manny. I appreciate it. So monsters attack much like heroes do in the same cruciform function. They roll a number of attack dice as listed on their chart on the Game Master screen. A hero defends by rolling dice to see, if he gets a shield, and that takes off the number of hits that are coming in. Zargon can cast a dread spell. You must give your dread spells to specific monsters as called for in the quest notes. A monster can only cast a spell on a hero that can see it. Same thing, same line of sight. So just like D&D, it's almost virtually the same. Hey, sometimes it rolls like that, my friend. Manny says, I missed the rest of that fight due to work, but they saved the townspeople. I mean, look at it like this, dude. When you came out to this call, did you really think I'll meet another D&D player and we'll geek out for like an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes? You did not. You did not. So the question, talking about Massive Darkness and campaigns and XP, what happens between quests? As a hero, your starting body and mind points are automatically restored once you have successfully completed the quest and have returned safely to the stairway. All spells are then returned to the heroes who cast them. Finally, you may now visit the armory and purchase new weapons and armor with the gold coins you have accumulated. Be patient. It might take a few quests before you have enough money to purchase anything. Wizard. Since there are so few things that you can buy from the armory, it would be wise for you to save your money. You keep any treasures found and take them with you on your next quest. Remember, heroes, to subtract from your character sheet any gold coins spent. Save this sheet between quests and use it again. Lost artifacts. Sometimes it is required that the heroes have a specific artifact in their possession before they continue on to the next quest. Zargon, if a hero dies while in possession of an artifact, you and your monster steal the artifact. You must include the artifact as a special treasure early in the next quest. Unfinished quest. Zargon, if a quest ends with disastrous results, such as death for all 4 characters, or goes unfinished, you should modify the quest before it is replayed. You can do this by creating a new adventure using the blank map and symbols at the end of the quest book. So, regarding the quests and regarding the monsters and whatnot and the campaign, there are many quests. There are expansion packs. I'm looking at them. There's the Trials of the Witch Lord, and another one I can't see. It's too far away. But there are 2 expansion. It's Kellar's Keep, I think. Is that it? Yeah, Tellar's Keep or Kellar's Keep or something like that. But there are 3 initially available campaigns, and you can make other campaigns. So this is a game that encourages creation of dungeon. The combat system is dead simple, no pun intended. The effects of different spells and what different monsters, I mean, we could be here another 2 hours going over the magic system and what it is and how it do. But that's it, guys. Them's the rules. It's as simple as OD&D. If you could go back to December of 1973 and release HeroQuest, we'd be talking about HeroQuest now. Dungeons and Dragons would have been an also-ran. I'm not saying that this is better than D&D. I'm just saying that this might have, in its simplicity, steamrolled D&D. But it's funny to mention, okay, so this is, this is Avalon Hill. Now, Avalon Hill is just a publishing name that Wizards of the Coast uses. I want to read something to you guys, and I think this is the funniest thing in the world. No, it's not really the funniest thing in the world, but let me see if I can find this. Oh, I can't. Not seeing it. I would have thought this would have been something that would have you could just find, but briefly, Avalon Hill slagged Dungeons and Dragons. They said they didn't see the appeal because there's no end game, and the games could go on for hours. Like there's no win state of the game. I have a lot of Avalon Hill boxed games, and it's interesting to note, right around 1975, Avalon Hill and a lot of stodgy war game companies that were very entrenched in the business, SPI, Avalon Hill, they all started releasing fantasy board games. Interesting, isn't it? Suddenly, fantasy was very hot. So it's very interesting to note. Now, at this juncture in history, again, Avalon Hill is gone. They were kind of spluttering along. They had a few interesting properties still. They were still publishing Starship Troopers after the movie came out. You know, they kind of ramped that up. There was a Dune board game that they published, even I think into the 80s, like after the movie, but they didn't really tie it to any of the Dune properties other than the name. It's pretty highly regarded, and they actually published a supplement to it. So in the Dune universe strategy game where you play a house, you know, fight the Harkonnens, you can be the Empire, you can be House Atreides, you can be the Guild, the Bene Gesserit, and so on. You can come to points where duels are fought. And Avalon Hill released a tactical duel fighting game for Dune that is almost as sought after as the Dune bookshelf game. Now, somewhere around here, I have the Dune bookshelf game, or maybe back at its owner's house, my father-in-law. He gave me all of his Avalon Hill and 3M games. I have Panzer Blitz, I have Kriegspiel, I have Squad Leader, not Advanced Squad Leader, but I do know that I had Dune for a while, and he may have asked for that back wisely, I might add. That fetches a pretty penny online, and I think with a movie coming out, it will probably tend to be even more. Vinny comments on HeroQuest, feels very AD&D or basic D&D on a board game. I would tend to lean more towards a basic D&D, and it is very reminiscent of Dungeon. Dungeon's a lot more abstract. Like, you don't, like, where am I fighting it? It's just, you know, you're moving a pawn along the board, and he either encounters a hall monster or encounters a monster in a chamber, and there's treasure or a trap. You get enough, you get back to the entry stairs, you're out. And there's no continuing from from A to B. Theirs does not. So in that respect, I would make it more akin to Dungeons and Dragons, but there is a continuation and a leveling up of characters. And what's interesting to note about leveling characters in HeroQuest, and you might say, well, Bill, characters don't level. They do. Gold is their experience. And the better stuff you can buy in the store, the more effective you become in combat. Does that make sense? It's like you spend the gold to become a more effective fighter, or a more effective dwarf, or a more effective barbarian, a more effective dwarf, a more effective elf, a more effective wizard, with rare things you can buy. And things that the wizard can buy are rare and very expensive. You level slower than everyone else. And things that are dropped by the characters, I mean, campaigns are altered and changed and so on. There are multiple campaigns, the Witch Lord, the Keller's Keep, and there will probably be some more forthcoming if this is really popular. So it is all very much a game of advancing. But I tend to think of it like back in the day when we would play HeroQuest, we'd play a few quests of HeroQuest. I never got invested in being the barbarian. Like I never wanted to say, I'm Strongo, the barbarian, and I'm from the town of Running Brook, and I almost said Zargon burned down my village, and now I've sworn revenge, and he sent goblins to do it, so I want to slay all goblins. I never felt that series of degree of investment in playing HeroQuest when we play. Maybe some did. And maybe you could build it out. I mean, there's an advanced HeroQuest which uses modular dungeons. I've never played it myself. You're going to see a cat walk across in just a minute. My wife's cat is on the table helping herself. She must be quite peeved. She wants to lay down in the middle of all my Dwarven Forge, and I have rule books lying everywhere. Joseph Lucas says, HeroQuest was a good go-to game back in high school. I have the original with the 2 expansions. You have a gold mine there, buddy. I mean, the release of the new edition makes it available for a lot of people, and I hope it stays available for a lot of people. I mean, I really genuinely hope that Hasbro is not going to pull a Games Workshop and say, oh, look, we sold 20,000 copies. It's gone forever. It's gone forever. Yeah, we know you loved it and it was a beloved game, but no, it's gone forever. Which is what Games Workshop does with Space Hulk. Space Hulk came out. The first edition lasted until about 1992. Then it disappeared for a few years. Then around 1994, 95, second edition came out, which was the first edition I ever owned, but not the first edition I ever played. And it was cut down, and there were nowhere near the amount of expansions. And from 1995 to 2009, that was it. 14 years without any Space Hulk. And then Space Hulk 3rd edition roared out, and it was... people grabbed it up. I snagged a copy of Space Hulk and was so happy. Space Hulk 3rd edition. And it disappeared for a few years. It came back in print in 2014. Now it's gone again. And it's been gone for 7 more years. Hail Lobster Michael. Warhammer Fantasy Quest. I know the name. I did not play that one. I see you there, Vinny. But yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of the 10,000-foot view of how the HeroQuest rule systems work and how they compare to D&D. Do I think it's a better game than D&D? No, I don't. But the concepts introduced in this can get people used to the idea of fantasy role play. This could make a hell of a gateway drug. Ain't gonna lie. Can make a hell of a gateway drug. So if you have the means, and Vinny was commenting on this. Vinny, what did you say over on Facebook? I'm Your version was just $20 more than that standard version sold at stores now. I found it at GameStop for $129. I think what he's saying is he found HeroQuest at GameStop for $129. It's a big ask, but it's a big ask, but it's a big ask. However, HeroQuest includes a ton of miniatures, in the special edition, a ton more. So you're getting a boatload of minis and mini terrain. Even if you find that HeroQuest isn't to your taste, if you do tabletop gaming with scatter terrain and you like monster miniatures and hero miniatures, there you go. It's not a bad price. $129. All of the miniatures you get, I think it comes like nearly 80 or 90 miniatures. I could be wrong. I could be way wrong. It might be closer to 60 or 70 miniatures. But the point is, you get a lot of miniatures for what you get. So in that respect, for tabletop, it does pay for itself. Michael asks, Warhammer Fantasy, remember the 90 Space Fleet, 40k Space Fleet game with a lid used to generate hits? Yes, it also was used to generate the winds of the space warp that could blow spaceships around. You'd flip, because the box was like a foot square on a side and about 6 inches deep, and on the inside of the lid was a grid, and you would just drop a die, and that would be the direction that the psychic winds might push you in combat. It was crazy. It was mad game design, and I loved it. And so Warhammer Fantasy Quest was a modular game. So, yeah, I wondered, though, I do wonder if we'll see Advanced HeroQuest from Avalon Hill. I kind of think not, because Advanced HeroQuest, I don't want to say it and then prove to be wrong. I want to get called out. So it's, it's all the same stuff. Advanced HeroQuest is GW. So I don't think we'd see ever HeroQuest going to Avalon Hill, Advanced HeroQuest going to Avalon Hill, like they were able to seize control of basic HeroQuest. But you can track the rules down somewhere, I'm sure, on the internet. The set pieces are even better than in the original 89 version. Yeah, I definitely think and we did that when we did the unboxing. Yeah, when we did the unboxing, we looked at the terrain. It was all gorgeous. The original terrain was So, like, if you think about a wizard's table that's got, like, you know, the alembic and, you know, a little familiar, you know, sitting on the table and a little crystal ball and all that jazzmatazz molded into plastic as the tabletop. The rest of the table was like 4-sided cardboard thing that was cut, and you had to fold up and slot into that, and then slot a plastic bottom on, and then do like all the furniture that way that you were going to decorate the dungeon with. Hypothetically, you could then disassemble it and then lay it all back flat in the box, but you wouldn't want to because the paper would eventually fall apart. The pasteboard pieces would eventually fall apart. Well, with the new one, they just went with it. Michael says, why call out? Just opinion. I'm not calling you out, dude. I wasn't calling you out. I don't even remember the subject. But yeah, so the new piece is a lot better. We did the big unboxing, so we, you know, we saw it all. But it's too late. I've seen everything. So yeah, I do. Now, if you're asking me, do I recommend HeroQuest? Sure, absolutely. Get it if you have the funds. Play it. It will be useful in many ways. You can use the board for Dungeons and Dragons. You can use it as a battle mat for D&D. It's squared off to say, hey, ignore the rooms. Or do the Fog of War unveiling like as in HeroQuest. We open the door and then set out the piece. Oh, I see what you're saying. No. When I say like don't call me out on that, I am very frequently being tongue in cheek with the don't call me out or don't at me or, you know, I don't want to hear any nasty emails. That's all meant to be very, very tongue in cheek. And if I call you guys by name, I say Michael Connor or Extra Crisby or Samalama or Dungeon Minister. I got to be nice to the Dungeon Minister, or Joseph Lucas or whoever. You know, if I say somebody by name, I'm just being friendly. If I jokingly say I'm calling you out, guys, please trust me. There's very few things you'll ever see me get like amped up and ramped up and angry at people about, and it's not going to be you guys. I don't have a big enough audience, honestly, that I have a lot of people who come in and disagree with me and start arguments on the live streams. If I ever say call out or I use your name, I say, yo, Michael Connor, I'm calling you out, man. It's meant in strict humor. One day, maybe my channel is so big that I just have randos blowing in off the street. And, you know, they're like, oh, what is this channel? What is, you know, what's this a-hole got to say? And, you know, they're slamming me in the comments or whatever. And I'll get back to them a little bit until it becomes show disruptive. And then I'll tell Kyle or whoever's at the switch, just shut you down. Debate stream 2022. What's to debate? I am awesome. AD&D is awesome. OD&D is awesome. Debate over. Michael says, I just want the Shuriken catapult returned to seconded glory. Oh my gosh. We were, you know, okay, so 40K story time. Everybody today is all about the friggin' blue Smurfs, right? The Horseshoe Marines. In 89, when we played 40K, we were Eldar munchkins. When the Harlequin supplement came out, Michael Connor knows what I'm talking about. When the Harlequin supplement came out and the Eldar started to be featured in their full sinister glory, you had that the Harlequin's kiss, the Shuriken cannon, all the nasty stuff that they could pack into grenades to lob at unsuspecting humans. everybody wanted to run an Eldar or a Harlequin squad for tacticals. But of course, back then, you could get a dozen metal Harlequin miniatures for $19.95. This is in 1989. So for $20, you get like 10 or a dozen Harlequin minis. If GW still made metal minis, they would probably charge north of $25 for one metal Harlequin, if they still made them. As it is, they really don't want to sell you single minis anymore. They want you to break down and spend $75, $80 on a box. People used to say Eldar were OP. Yeah. There was a time when it was just like, it was Eldar 40K. Of course, that was the time of the Beaky Marine. I liked the Beaky Marine. Paul says warp spiders broke that army. Yep. Now, what almost pulled me back into 40K, what came darn close, was the aesthetic and the tactics of the Tau. The Tau back in 99, 2000 were the new Eldar. They were the new hotness. Because here comes an army that's not covered in like shit and blood and Gothic church pieces and pentagrams and skulls, just like covered in skulls. Everything is skulls. Skullhammer, Scully skull. In the grim skullness of skulls, there are only skulls. Yeah, so the Tau came along, and then when you read like the first and even second edition Tau lore, and they're just like, yeah, we're cool with humans. We're cool with humans worshiping the Emperor. Just, drop the racism of Emperor worship. I'm sure he still looks after you guys. Oh, the Marines are going to come back in and purge you? No. Look, here's better weapons and stuff. And we'll send some advisors to your planet, too, to help you fight off the Marines. So, Tau 40K anime. Yeah. I mean, I saw a couple of custom battle suits that were literally just Mobile Suit Gundam models. Like the 172 scale Mobile Suit Gundams. Just with Tau decals on them and Tau paint jobs. Because it works, right? But I liked the idea that there was a place where you could play human troops, even Marine troops, and kind of get away from like the sucking void of everything's dying for a little while. Michael. Yes. So as things moved forward, they did two things with it. I think a lot of people held the opinion that the Tau were at first they were too OP. There was something. So the Tau, if you're not familiar with how Warhammer works, I got to tell you this story. If you're not familiar with how Warhammer works, briefly, vehicles that are rolling along the ground can be close assaulted because they're considered ground vehicles. So if you have somebody in a battle suit, or they get a limpet mine, or a rocket launcher that's tough enough to punch a hole in, or a minigun that's tough enough to punch a hole in, an Imperial or Orc or Chaos or Eldar or whatever vehicle, when they're rolling along the ground, they can be close assaulted. You cannot close assault a flying vehicle. All Tau vehicles fly. They all fly. So for 2 or 3 editions, a Tau tank could glide into a group of Space Marine Terminators and open up with its point defense weapons. And they could do nothing to stop it if they didn't have anti-armor weapons. Very broken. very, very, very broken. So Games Workshop fixed the Tau in rules. They fixed the rules overall so stuff like that couldn't happen. Oh, same for Eldar. But people didn't bitch about the Eldar the way they bitched about the Tau. People didn't bitch about the Eldar the way they bitched about the Tau. There's like, oh, it's hovering. Well, we'll just have to use long-range anti-armor weapons and anti-vehicle weapons. But the Tau came along and could do it, and they're like, oh, it sucks. It's broken. Yes, they did change. So the lore for the Tau, where they spew the greater good nonsense, but secretly sterilize the non-Tau that they conquer. Yeah, so for 2 editions, the Tau were noble bright. The Tau were everything that the Empire lied about being, and not xenophobes. Like the Tau don't go through warp space deeply enough like Imperial ships do. So, and their souls are so weak, for lack of a better term, demons can't get after them. So the only thing the Tau have to fear are orcs, Tyranids, and what do you call them? The Terminator guys, the Necrons. Eldar weren't commies. They were worse. Eldar were worse. Eldar were otherkin. And the Tau were like, yeah, we want to invent a better light bulb. That's awesome. We're going to invent a better light bulb. This one is better. It uses less energy. Whereas in Warhammer, it's like, I'm going to invent a better light bulb. We're just going to drill a hole in your skull and stick a coal-burning piston engine over there instead, and put a CRT monitor right here, and put cables where your arms used to be, and wheel you into a factory for daring to think that a better light bulb. You're some kind of heretic. But so that was all cool about the Tau, and the first couple of what do you call it? Codexes about the Tau, codexes about the Tau. Honestly, anybody playing Warhammer who was like sick of Skullhammer and Scully Skull, go play the Tau, because the Tau are noble bright. You can have Marines with like Tau logos on their armor and stuff. Imperial Tau players. Like, we still think the Emperor is boss awesome, and we still got Space Marine chapters and so on. We're just tired of getting exterminated by the Inquisition because we saw a dirty picture. Oh, we found a porno mag on the South Pole of this planet. Clearly all 8 billion of the inhabitants on it are Slaneshi worshippers, so we'll just exterminatus you. Or maybe we didn't find anything and it was a clerical error. We were supposed to go to planet Zeta. This is planet Beta. And we made a typo. So we exterminatus. 30 billion people die. Oopsie. Meanwhile, you have a world literally gets sucked into space hell because you guys nuked an innocent planet, and the actual guilty planet is now churning out chaos battle titans. That's the Imperium. And for players that wanted to get away from that, the Tau were a great option. And then by the third codex, they were like, nah, man, they cut your balls off. They put people in concentration camps. It's all been propaganda up to this point. And the Marine players, by which I mean the Ultramarine players, the Dark Angels and the Deathwing are the only good Imperial forces. I mean, good, like cool, awesome ones. Anyway, the Ultramarine players were like, woohoo! Everything is shit again. So that's the story of the Tau. Boy, we meandered tonight. We staggered across many different lines. We started with Hero's Quest and how it can compare to D&D, and now we're bumbling into Warhammer 40K discussion, which again, I don't play Warhammer 40K. I know the lore. I don't play Warhammer 40K, and I don't play Warhammer 40K for all the reasons that I outlined. No, I got you, Michael. I understand what you're saying. In all honesty, the people bitching about the Tau were us nerfed Eldar players. Yeah. The Eldar weren't commies. The Eldar were worse. The Eldar were worse. But hey, they were Robin Williams' army of choice. God rest his soul. He would say, you know, I love playing the Eldar. They're like like violent theater kids or something like that. I can't remember what he said, but it was pretty funny because it was Robin Williams. I wish he were still with us, and I wish somebody had thought to somebody. Gosh, even if it was. See, that was a missed opportunity. Why did Games Workshop never go to Robin Williams and say, we want to interview you? And Billy Crystal played Warhammer with him too. Why didn't they go to, famous people who play Warhammer 40K? We sit down, White Dwarf sits down this month with Robin Williams and Billy Crystal. I'm not saying it would have changed the outcome. I'm not that arrogant or short-sighted, but I just think it was a missed opportunity. He also played Dungeons and Dragons. Why did Dragon Magazine not go to him and say, I don't think he called them flamboyant racists. I don't, but it was a missed opportunity. It was a missed opportunity. Dragon or Wizards, TSR. Although, I mean, probably at the time Robin was still interested in playing Dungeons and Dragons on the regular. TSR was so broke they couldn't pay attention. I mean, you got to figure, he talked about playing D&D in Juilliard, so Robin was probably playing either OD&D or AD&D, which is kind of awesome to think about. I doubt he auditioned Ward. I doubt the esteemed Mr. Williams would have given a flip about what version of D&D, just so long as it was cool and fun. He played WoW and did commercials for them. That's neat. Back then, though, back when WoW was booming, they had my favorite WoW commercial was the Ozzy Osbourne one. He's sitting in this ornate throne, and he lunges towards the camera and says, "I'm Ozzy Osbourne, and I'm the Prince of Darkness." And apparently that's like a character in WoW, and they're like, Ozzy, no, there's only one Prince of Darkness. They're not British and GW haven't ever had business since. You're very right. You're very right. A-Week says, WotC uses celebrities now. It is no bueno. I agree with you there. But I think back in the 2000s, before we entered the 31st century, earlier on, it might have been good. Shatner and Mr. T, yep. But yeah, they're not British and Games Workshop. Here's the thing about GW not having business sense. I don't disagree with you, Paul. Games Workshop could break into the homes. They could hire break-in teams, just randomly break into Warhammer 40K players' homes and film themselves wiping their butts with like the residents' wedding photos. 3/4 of the people they did that to would still play Warhammer 40K and still buy the stuff and still buy White Dwarf and still pay $35 a piece for single hero miniatures and so on. They would go on. I don't understand it. Somebody out there with business acumen, please explain to me how a company as openly abusive to its fans. Games Workshop clearly despises the people who give them money. They will, and the businesses that support them, the businesses that sell their product that aren't GW stores, they actively shit on these people, and they say they're going to do it. I have a friend, when he lived in Central Florida, ran a store, an online store, and sold Warhammer 40K stuff. That the towel that I have, I bought from him. I have a Hammerhead, I have a Devilfish Troop Transport, and I have a fire team, or a Fire Warrior team. And like GW representatives called my friend up and said, we're going to wreck you, basically. I'm having some streaming issues. It says, error, YouTube is not receiving enough info to stream.